Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to I Am Mastery family. I want to first give a blessed thank you and say that I'm humbled and excited to be before the I Am Mastery platform on behalf of I Am Women International. Drop a seven in the chat box if you're thankful to be here. Before I get started, I just want to give a special thank you to every woman who spoke before me for all of the value that was given today, the insight, the uplift, the motivation, and the dedication provided to the women in our industry. I want to give a special thank you to Katie Brown just for her vision on this call, her vision in putting this together to make sure that we as women of I Am Mastery have a hub and have a community where we can grow together as one and take this farther and higher than ever before. If you're excited, you're humbled, if you learned something today, drop a 777 in the chat box. I'm thankful to be before you. For those of you all who do not know, my name is Tia Bolden, known in this industry as the Tia Bolden. I've been a part of I Am Mastery Academy for about 6 years now. I started in April of 2018, and I can confidently say that I feel more strongly and more belief in where this company is right now than I have ever before. So drop a five for yourself for being a part of the forefront of where things are headed inside of I Am Mastery. Today, I'm humbled to speak on behalf of I Am Women, and I want to encourage you all as women to understand that being a woman in this industry, being a woman inside of business, a woman on track for greatness, means that you are somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. And that's something that I stand upon, that I strongly believe in. And today I have the excitement of speaking to you all about igniting the fire within you. Igniting the fire within you is what we're going to talk about. And this topic is really, really special to me because igniting the fire inside of myself is something that helped me traverse adversity over the past 6 years, that helped me when business was up, when business was down, when people were doubtful, when I faced trials and tribulations. Igniting the fire and keeping that light burning is something that kept things going. So we're going to go over igniting the fire within you today. I'm going to give you all an acronym, the word fire, FIRE. I'm going to give you 4 points of how I was able to ignite the fire within me and how you can do the same. So if you have your notes ready, drop me a two in the chat box. We're going to go ahead and get things started. The first letter, of course, in fire is our F. When we talk about the F, it stands for find it. I want you all to understand the fire. It begins within you. It begins inside of you. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is looking outer for what God has created inside of us. Yes, I'm starting off hot. The biggest mistake that we make is wanting outer forces, outer voices, or outer things to fix what's taking place already inside of us. And I want you all to know it is impossible. Think of it like the Titanic, for example. The Titanic did not sink because of the water that was outside of the ship. It sunk because of the water that seeped inside of the ship. An entire ocean cannot sink a ship unless the water gets inside of it. As women inside of this industry, as women inside of business, as women who are progressing to where we want to be, we have to stop allowing things that are happening around us to get inside of us and weigh us down to where we are no longer reaching the heights that we deserve. Drop a five in the chat box if you understand that you control your thoughts. You control your mentality. You control the direction of your day every single day. So if you wake up in the morning dwelling on your failures, you're now allowing them to own you. If you wake up in the morning thinking about your problems, you're now attracting more problems to your day to day. Your perspective is what prepares the difference in your past and your present. I'll say it again. Your perspective is what prepares the difference between your past and your present. So when we're igniting the fire within you, that F, when we're finding it, we have to first make sure that we're eliminating the things that are keeping us away from the fire that burns inside. I saw a post on Instagram the other day. It said, worrying is almost like worshiping the problem. Do you all understand that two people can go through the exact same thing in life and have two different outcomes based on how they look at the situation? Perspective. At some point as women, we have to develop the relentless mentality that either way things go, I'm going to make it happen. And drop a seven for yourself in the chat box. Either way it goes, we're going to make it happen. Even if I blow my account, I'm going to make it happen. Even if people walk away from my business, I'm going to make it happen. Even if my mentor gives up, I'm going to make it happen because I am relentless on my pursuit to where I want things to be. The fire that's burning inside of me says that there are enough things and people in this world that are doubting women in this industry. There are enough people telling you can't do it, telling you you're not capable, telling you you're not able, telling you what you cannot do. What you need to do is make sure that you don't become one of those people. By believing in yourself, you have to love where you're headed as much as you love where you are right now. The gratitude inside of you is a requirement in order for you to ignite that fire. So drop a 5 in the chat box if the F for minded makes sense, if the F for find it is understood, because we're going to move on to the next letter in fire, which is the I. Okay, the I stands for identify. This point makes a lot of purpose towards identifying the why within the why. Write it down like this. You cannot identify without the why. And I've had a lot of people ask me, well, Tia, if the F is for find it and the I is for identify, what's the difference between those two? Don't they mean the exact same thing? A lot of people wonder, aren't those two words synonymous? And I want you to understand, to find something is to discover it by chance, meaning that it may not have been purposeful, it may not have been intentional, but if you found something, you discovered it by chance. To identify means to make the decision to uncover what something is. Okay, finding means to discover or stumble upon something by chance. Identify means you're making the decision to uncover what something is. The difference between find and identify lies within the decision. So when we start talking about identifying, I want you to understand, why are you here? What are you doing this for? What gets you out of bed every morning? What's your driving factor? What keeps you going when things get tough? What's your motivating belief? What's pushing you to keep going when things get hard? Why are you doing this and what are you doing it for? And the most common answer that I receive when I ask this question is money. Oh, I'm doing it for the money. I'm here for the money. Drop an 8 in the chat box if you've heard somebody say, I'm in this for the money. I am for the money. I'm making this happen for the money, because I want you to understand, money is never the why. Money is simply a tool that's utilized to help us achieve something greater. Whether we want more time, whether we want more freedom, whether we want more stability, whether we simply want more happiness. My question to you is why? If I took away every materialistic thing that you have right now, what would you have left? Because that's who you are. My mentor, Neno, he says it every single day on Mornings with Neno. It's not what we get in life that inspires us, it's who we become. And the only way for us to truly achieve a goal is to operate like we're already there. You've got to operate like you're already on stage. You've got to show up at the event as the chair queen you already are. You've got to show up as the educator that you already are. You've got to show up like the industry icon and leader that you already are, so that you can operate in that status. The proper way to identify your why is to make sure that it's bigger than the doubt. You identify your why by making sure it's greater than the misunderstanding. You identify your why by making sure it's stronger than those people who may not see the vision just yet. Hey, drop a 2 in the chat box if you understand. We are women inside of this business. We already have a target on our back. We already have stigmas against us. We already have doubt when we walk in the room, misunderstanding when we enter a place. There are already enough things going against us as soon as we put ourselves into position. And I want you all to understand that as women in this business, this is how it's going to go. And shout out to a special leader of mine, Mr. Zion Latham. He always pushes this narrative that our perspective has to be greater than our current position. So as a woman in this business, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to tell you directly so that when it happens, you're not surprised or shocked in any way. In the beginning, they're going to say it won't work. When you make progress, they're going to say it won't last. And then when you make it, they're going to say, oh, she got lucky. I'll tell you again, in the beginning, they're going to say, oh, that's not going to work. That thing, that PS thing, it's not going to work. It's not real. When you start seeing progress, they say, oh, that's nice for the short term, but it's not going to last. It won't be here much longer with the company that's been here over 11 years now. And then when you make it, they're going to say, oh, she got lucky. Oh, it's just a happenstance. It's a hoax. There's going to be doubt at every single level. That's why it's so important that you know what you're doing this for. You have to identify the why within your why so that it's greater than all the negativity that you're going to face on your pursuit to success. Drop an 8 if you know this is not easy and it's not going to get any easier, but you're going to get better along the way. Remember this. People want to see you do well, but never better than them. I repeat it. People want to see you do well. They'll tell you, I want to see you here. I want to see you there. I want to see this, that. They want to see you do well, but never better than them. And that's okay. Because every single day that you wake up, you have to know that because of the fire burning inside of you, because of the fire ignited inside of you, you're already better. You're already greater. You're already stronger. You already possess more. You already speak better. You already operate higher. You already make more. You already believe more. You already see more. Your faith is already higher. And that's the prize of who you're going to become. Success without fulfillment is failure. So once you identify what it is that fulfills you, you've got to be so firm in it that failure is no longer an option for you. So that's step number 2. Drop me an I in the chat box if identify makes sense. We've covered find it. That's our F. We've covered identify. That's our I. We're moving very well. Now, the next topic, and this is one that's very, very special to me, it's the R. The R stands for risk. And I think this may be my favorite point on the entire presentation. Drop risk, R-I-S-K, in the chat box if you understand that our R in igniting the fire inside of us stands for risk. This one is personal to me. Do we have any ladies on here that trade? Drop me a 5 in the chat box if y'all trade. Do y'all actually get into the markets? Do you all trade? You all utilize these scanners, these market tools that we have in IM Mastery? Okay, I see my trading queens. I see my queens who trade in the chat box. All right, let me talk to the ladies who trade because we talk about risk quite a bit. One thing I want you all to understand is that the biggest risk you can ever take in life is not taking the risk. Write that down. The biggest risk you can ever take is not taking the risk at all. So for those of us who do trade, we know that we like setups that are high reward, low risk. Okay, we may like a 1 to 2 setup, a 1 to 3 setup, a 1 to 4 setup we really love. But I want you all to understand, if we're thinking about our trading mentality and putting it towards our business mentality, without the risk, there's no reward at all. Without taking the risk, there's no chance at the reward. So if we like the 1 to 2, we like the 1 to 3, we like the 1 to 4, understand that there's no 2 without the 1. There's no 3 without the 1. There's no 4 without the 1. Without the risk, there's no reward at all. Without us giving ourselves a chance, we don't give ourselves a shot at the success that we could possibly attain. You miss 100% of the shots that we don't take, but you have to shoot. For all of my queens on this call, I want you to ask yourself, when is the last time you did something for the first time? When is the last time you started a new endeavor? When is the last time you wrote the book? When is the last time you launched the podcast? When is the last time you learned a new product or scanner inside of IM Academy? When is the last time you created a new demo just to test out some crypto pairs? When is the last time you hopped on a brand new exchange to test out some alt-fi? When is the last time you launched the online store? When is the last time you developed your personal brand? When is the last time you created the vlog? When is the last time you reached out to that industry leader that you've been studying for this long for personal mentorship or asked the question for some understanding and clarity? When is the last time you dove into a new academy or hopped on a go live for somebody you've never tapped into just to expand your knowledge a little bit more? Take the risk. Take the risk. Believing in yourself, it costs nothing at all, but the absence of belief could cost you everything. You pay yourself nothing in life by repeating the same 365 days and calling it a year. Take the risk. One thing I love about the risk itself is that it's something that takes place every single day. 60,000, 60,000, 60,000, 60,000. 60,000 is the number of thoughts that we have every single day. And I want you to ask yourself, out of these 60,000 thoughts, how many of them are positive towards the risk you're willing to take to get better on a daily basis? 60,000 thoughts flow through our mind on a recurring basis. How many of these thoughts are conducive to where you want to be, conducive to where you see yourself in the next 3 months, conducive to the success you want to see by the end of 2024? I'll tell you all a secret. The breakthrough that you desire Queens, the breakthrough that you want, the breakthrough that you deserve, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't take the risk, it's not going to happen at all. If I were to tally up the numbers of your personal life risk to reward, if we were to put it on a scale, the receipt for not taking the risk is always going to be larger and longer than the amount you could gain by giving yourself a chance. I'll say it again. If we were to put your life on a scale of risk to reward and do a case study or an overview, the receipt for not taking the risk is always going to be longer and larger than the amount that you could simply gain by giving yourself a chance. Drop a 7 if this is making some sense. I hope that my ladies on this call are really feeling this, because we can sit back and be so worrisome and so doubtful of ourselves when simply all we have to do is take a risk. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. I was listening to Katie Brown one day and she said something. I don't even know if she realized that she blew my mind with this statement. She said, what you are right now, who you are right now, that's God's gift to you. Okay? So what you are, who you currently are right now, that's God's gift to you. But what you become on your journey, how you develop and how you get better, that's your gift to God. I'll say it again because I don't want anybody to miss that one. When she said it, it struck me like lightning. She said, what you are right now is God's gift to you. What you're going to become is your gift to God. And I just pray that as women inside of this industry, we no longer let God down out of doubt, out of fear, out of worry for the gift that He has given us, out of fear of taking the risk. The only people who risk going too far are the people who actually identify how far they can go. That means you have to take the risk to understand what the risk is going to do. So which person do you want to be? Because after you master taking the risk, we move on to our final letter in igniting the fire inside of us, which is the E. And the E stands for eliminate. Drop an E in the chat box if you're ready for the last point. And E, if you've got some incredible notes. We know that we have to find it with our F, identify with our I, take the risk with our R. But for some of us ladies inside of this industry, I know that some elimination is required for us to get where we want to go. Eliminate. And when I talk about eliminate, the first thing I want you to understand is that you have to give up to go up. I'll say it again. You have to give up to go up. And I'm not saying to give up on yourself, give up on your dreams. I'm saying there are some habits you're going to have to give up. There are some people you're going to have to give up. There are some environments you're going to have to give up. There are some addictions you're going to have to give up in order for you to go up and take things just a little bit higher. Some of us, we've been doing the same thing for the past couple of years and wondering why our life looks the exact same. We've been repeating the same habits over and over and wondering why things have not changed. My pastor said this one Sunday and it smacked me in the face. He said, if you cannot control your habit is controlling you. What are you willing to eliminate to reach the next level that you've been dreaming about, praying about, speaking about? Because you have to work like it's up to God. Pray like it's up to you. What are you willing to give up to get where you want to be? A lot of people talk about success, but very few act upon the elimination required to make it to that point. Think of it like an airplane. If you were taking a flight today, headed to your favorite city, and you're hopping on the plane and it's about to get ready, when does the airplane utilize the majority of its fuel? Drop it for me in the chat box. When does an airplane utilize the max amount of its fuel? And what part of the flight requires the most fuel for the airplane? Let me know in the chat box. I see some of my queens dropping the correct answer. I see it coming through correct. The takeoff. Why does the takeoff require the most fuel? Because you need the most of your ability when it's time to elevate. The plane has to give up the comfort of the ground and fight against gravity in order to soar into the sky. And for some of us queens on this call right now, you've been that airplane for a long time. You've been on the ground, wandering around, surfacing, looking for when to take off, waiting for somebody to give you some sort of hand signal, afraid of what you have to give up in order to ascend to the higher heights that God has called you to be. So, what I'm going to give us really fast is 3 things that we need to eliminate today. Drop a 3 in the chat box if you're ready. We're going to end this thing the right way. 3 things that we need to eliminate in order to elevate. I should have titled this call Eliminate to Elevate. That's a good one. Katie, the next call we do, we're going to call it Eliminate to Elevate. But this is great. This is great. Okay, in order to ignite the fire within us, the first thing we need to eliminate is excuses. Write that down. The first thing we need to eliminate in order to ignite the fire inside of us is these excuses. Oh my goodness. You all realize that people who want this to work are going to find a way, and people who don't are going to find an excuse? Y'all ever meet people that have an excuse for everything? Have a problem for every solution? At some point, I just stopped giving them solutions. And for some of us ladies on this call today, the only thing standing between you and your goal is the excuse you keep telling yourself in your mind for why you can't achieve it. Oh, I don't have enough money in my trading account to be successful. Oh, I'm not that good at prospecting. Oh, I don't speak as well as her. Oh, I don't wear clothes as nice as this woman. Oh, I have too much going on to focus on winning right now. Oh, this isn't my building season currently. I need to take a break. Oh, somebody else deserves success more than me. Oh, my imposter syndrome has become greater than me. I'm just going to stop. And as women, we're so full of excuses that are holding us back. And my question is, says who? Who told you you weren't good enough? Who told you you didn't have enough? Who told you you weren't capable? Who doubted you so much that you believed it? The only limiting belief that you possess is the one that you've created for yourself inside of your head. Who made you stop believing in you? If we can just cut out those excuses, if we can just cut out those tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness, you've already given yourself a step closer to the place where you want to be. The second thing we need to eliminate under point E is comparison. Oh my goodness. Comparison. Do you all understand that comparison is the thief of joy? Write that down. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you're wondering why you're not happy, why you don't feel fulfilled, why you don't feel like you're doing enough or achieving enough, it's probably comparison, because comparison is the thief of joy. They're complete opposite. 3 things I tell new students when they start inside of this industry, when I'm completing their onboarding. I tell them, do these 3 things. Don't compete, don't complain, don't compare. If you can do those 3, you will already be on track for the success that you desire. And as women, a lot of us feel that we are insecure. Drop a 5 if you understand that 90% of women feel like they struggle from insecurity. I have insecurities that I'm working past. I'm insecure in this area. I don't like my feet. I don't like my smile. There's something about my skin. I don't like. We've got all these insecurities that we allow to build up. You all understand that the majority of insecurity stems from comparison? Don't miss this. Don't miss it. The majority of insecurity stems from comparison. And I'm talking to the ladies because I know for a fact that you've been comparing yourself to an influencer on Instagram. I know for a fact you've been comparing yourself to somebody you saw on TikTok. I know for a fact you've been comparing your results in your trading screen to the results that you're seeing in the group chats. I know for a fact that you've been comparing your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. You've been comparing your day 1 to somebody's day 100 and wondering why you don't feel like you're doing enough. For once, I challenge you just to make the only comparison you make from today going forward be to the person that you were yesterday. Can everybody drop 1% in the chat box? 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. If you can just outdo yourself 1% every single day, believe that you are getting better. If you can just grow and develop and learn 1% every single day, you've done a good job. My mentee, Sam, love him. He's a walking book of knowledge. Shout out to Sam. He's probably on this call. He's always plugged in. Even the ladies' calls, he plugs in so well. Shout out to Sam. He told me one thing one day. He said, "Well, Tia, you realize that anything that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you." I said, "Sam, what?" He said, "Yeah, anything that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you." And it dawned on me, as women inside of this industry, we're being held back, or we're allowing ourselves to be held back because we let too many things that don't serve us deserve our time, deserve our energy, deserve our capacity, deserve our mindset, deserve our capacity, but deserve our belief. Any habit that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. Any addiction that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. Any ex that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. Any family members, I'm sorry, I love them, but if they don't serve you, they don't deserve you. Any spouse that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you, and that's going to sting for somebody. Any environment that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. Any clubs that don't serve you, they don't deserve you. Any comparison that doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. Any excuse, and I know they don't serve you, they don't deserve you. It doesn't deserve. And at some point, we just need to eliminate the things that are not serving us. Anything that is a distraction, anything that is keeping you off track from your goals, it doesn't deserve you. The scariest thing about comparison, and it really shocks me, is that a lot of people are only driven to goals so they can be better than somebody else. Drop a one if you know that's true. Some people can only go harder at the thought of being better than the next man, can only be pushed or motivated at the hopes of going higher than someone else. I was a part of this industry in the most egotistical and competition based, comparison based era that it had, COVID-19. Everybody was tit for tat. Everybody felt like they had to be better than somebody else. And the downfall fell so hard because if you can only compare yourself, or if you can only gauge your greatness on the success of someone else, you'll only ever be as great as that person was. You'll forever fall to the magnitude of their abilities. If you can only measure your success by the wins of another individual, you'll only ever be as great as they are. 1%. 1%. 1%. 1%. Focus on surpassing yourself every single day, especially as ladies. Your biggest competitor is the person in the mirror. Your biggest competitor is the queen looking right back at you when you open up your iPhone camera or Android. Stop comparing. It's killing your creativity and deteriorating the queen that God prepared you to be. The last thing we need to eliminate. Okay, we've eliminated excuses, we've eliminated comparison. The last thing we have to eliminate in order to ignite the fire inside of us is distractions. Oh my goodness. Distractions, distractions, distractions. What is a distraction? Anything that doesn't take you closer to where or who you want to be is a distraction. Shout out to a special leader of mine, Samaya B. She speaks on distractions so much. She's like, Miss No Distractions. Anything that doesn't take you closer to where or who you want to be is a distraction. Just like the airplane we talked about earlier that needed so much fuel to get off the ground. If it doesn't help you build traction, it's a distraction. So anything that's not helping you get closer, get wiser, get smarter, it's a distraction. Any thoughts that are compelling you or keeping you back from where you want to be, it's a distraction. Any habits that are pushing you further away from the goal and not towards it. It's a distraction. Any people, and this is the part that gets rough because it's like, man, I love my friends. I love to hang out. I love to kick it. I love to relax. I love to chill. I love to insert action here. But any action that's not helping you build traction is a distraction. And a special mentor of mine, he gave me 4 gems to stop feeding distractions. Drop a 4 in the chat box if you're ready for these 4 gems. 4 gems to keep you from feeding your distractions. He said, Tia, if you follow these 4 tips, you will remain on track and nothing will derail you from where you want to go. I'm like, yes, I need all 4. 4 gems to stop feeding your distractions. I'm going to give you all 4, then I'm going to let you go. Number 1, stop spending major time doing minor things. Number 1, stop spending major time doing minor things. Number 2, stop depositing into things that only withdraw from you. Number 2, stop depositing into things that only withdraw from you. Number 3, stop making permanent decisions from temporary emotions. Stop making permanent decisions from temporary emotions. And number 4, stop allowing people who do so little to control so much. 4 gems to stop feeding your distractions and start feeding your focus. Number 1, stop spending major time doing minor things. Number 2, stop depositing into things that only withdraw from you. Number 3, stop making permanent decisions from temporary emotions. Number 4, stop allowing people who do so little to control so much. Drop a 4 in the chat box if those 4 gems said or did something to you, because when I received them, it changed the entire blueprint for me. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to tell you that igniting the fire inside of you, it's going to take all of you. You're going to have to eliminate some excuses. You're going to have to eliminate some comparison. You're going to have to eliminate distractions, and you're going to have to be all in. That 1 foot in and 1 foot out mentality will not work when it's time to ignite the fire in you. I want you all to understand that the fire begins inside of you. Drop a flame in the chat box if you agree that the fire begins inside of you and the fire must remain within you. Take it from somebody who has rebuilt their organization over 8 times. The fire has to remain inside of you. Drop a flame if you understand I'm somebody who faced adversity at every level of this business. The fire must remain inside of you. Drop a flame if you know there will be days that you want to quit, but the fire must remain inside of you. Drop a flame if you know there's going to be times that you can barely get out of bed, that you don't know what you want to do, that other things look easier than this, other industries look easier, other companies may even look easier, but everything that glitters is not gold, and the fire begins inside of you. Drop a flame if you understand that the fire has to remain inside of you. It never gets easier. You just get better because the fire has to remain inside of you. It's not an outer thing, it's an inner thing. It's an inner me creating your energy, and you cannot let your energy become your enemy. The fire burns inside of you. Why? Because once you decide that you're going to remain on fire, you now allow other queens to do the same. And that burning light inside of you that you've passed to others, it'll never be burnt out. So thank you, I Am Women. Thank you, I Am Academy. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the chance. I look forward to igniting the fire in every single one of us and making sure that we all remain lit.
Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try to get funny. She's on top of the world.